Chapter 28, Steering Systems and Integral Steering Gears. Day 1, Video 5, Steering Linkage. So here we've made the rotational inputs into the steering gear, and the job of the steering gear is to multiply that effort and then take that rotational effort and turn it into a linear motion. So coming off of the steering gear, first thing is the pitman arm, and that is actually what changes that rotational force into the linear force or motion. So we got the pitman arm coming down here and then connecting into our rest of our steering linkage. So we have a drag link that connects the steering gear's pitman arm into the steering arm that's located on the steering knuckle. So that's a connection there. We'd have a tie rod end in each end of that drag link, so allows changes in the position of the axle as we go over a bump or a dip, or as more load is put on the frame of the truck and the suspension gives a little bit. The drag link allows that change in the position of the two components, but still takes that linear motion and transfers it into the steering knuckle. Tie rod end, we want to think of that as a ball in a socket that is inside the tie rod end, so that we want to have so that ball turns inside the socket, but we don't want play or looseness in there that create problem. So that tie rod end allows us to have the rotational, or a change in the positioning of those components it's connected to. Hydraulic steering damper, we could have a shock absorber type damper that's put onto the steer axle to the steering linkage, and would absorb impacts and that sort of thing as we hit bumps or dips in the road. The steering arm, that takes that linear motion from the drag link. It's connected to the steering arm is connected to the steering knuckle and causes it to change its angle right or left. Ackerman arm, same concept of the steering knuckle, or the steering arm on the top of the steering knuckle, but we've got the Ackerman arm on the bottom. That's what causes the steering angle to be transferred from the driver's side over to the passenger side. We'll talk a little bit more about the Ackerman arm and some of its duties.